Okay. Hi, everyone. Um, I hope you can hear me. Okay. I think you can hear me. Yeah. Okay. Mic's good. Everything looks good. So, hi, everyone. This is actually my first live stream on actual YouTube through YouTube because we now have almost 100 subscribers. So thank you everyone for that. Thank you for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, for watching the videos, for giving the feedback. Love it. And I just wanted to hop on here because uh, something happened that made me want to come on here and talk a little bit about some issues that we have animal welfare issues and how animal welfare issues are many times linked to social justice issues. That was one of the things that we talked about very early on the Armchair Advocate when we did our premiere, and I wanted to elaborate a little bit on that. So what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about food insecurity and how food insecurity impacts both humans and their companion animals. And I guess this is something that has weighed heavily on me because those of you who know me, I do feed a colony of community cats, and I have helped with rescue. I've helped with TNR, and which is trap, neuter, release for those of you who are new to the channel or are new to that procedure or process and don't really know what that's about. I can do a video later about that. But one of the things that we see is, so in trap neuter, I guess I might as well explain it because that kind of feeds into what I'm talking about. So trap neuter release is a way to help curb the population of community cats, which some people refer to as feral cats. I like to say community cats because these are just cats that are strays, free roaming in the community, really don't belong to anyone. But people do try to keep the population down, and one of the ways is by doing the trap, neuter, and return. So that's a whole process, and it starts with the person, someone going out with a live trap, trapping the cat, taking the trap to a spay neuter clinic, getting the cat fixed so they can't reproduce anymore, then bringing the cat back. And then there's someone like myself that's a colony manager. So what happens a lot of times is we find people in the community that are feeding these community cats, and the cats just keep multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. And they don't have the resources to go and get these cats spayed and neutered. So you can see how quickly the problem would get out of control. The issue becomes is that many of these people are poor, vulnerable, marginalized individuals. They're living in maybe not so nice areas in the city, or they're in a rural area, and there's not a whole lot of support for them. They may be low income, they may have mental health issues, they may be living in poverty, they may be an older person, they may be disabled. They have a lot of stuff going on. But the one thing that they all pretty much have in common is they have a great deal of empathy for these cats. They care a lot about the cats, and they want to make sure they're okay, and they don't want to see an animal starve, so they start feeding. Well, if they don't have the resources to spay and neuter, that can quickly become a problem, as you could see. But one of the things that I see, and I see this happen quite often, is there are people who are taking care of the animals or these cats, and they don't necessarily take care of themselves. And that's a problem, because if you're not taking care of yourself, there's going to come a point where you can't take care of anything else. you're not going to be able to take care of a colony of cats or your companion cats that live in your house with you or anything else if you don't take care of yourself. And this is where the social justice issue comes in. And the issue that I want to talk about specifically today is food insecurity. I know right now we are in a inflation, a period of great inflation, a great economic uncertainty, a lot of divisiveness in the country, a lot of hi Nanya, a lot of problems with being able to access food because it's very expensive. People are budgeting as tightly as they can. There are people going without food. And I just want to sit and reflect a little bit what that means for the animals. Okay. And this whole conversation, the reason I'm saying this is that I saw a comment on one of my friend Kim with Life with 18 Cats. And she's going to have a live stream coming up at 6. So I'm going to have my piece here and then get off so that people can go and go to her stream if they choose to. But someone had made a comment about Kim feeding her cats dry food while she was eating HelloFresh and she was making a meal on a live stream, and that's what they're referring to. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. And this makes me really upset because I know people that do TNR that are actually going or that are taking care of community cats that are going hungry because they are making sure that those cats eat first. And that shouldn't be. That should not be happening at all. And we really, as a community, should be supporting the people that are caring for these cats that otherwise would end up on the street, unalived, harmed, in a rescue, maybe, languishing for months until they get adopted, if they ever get adopted. Whereas these people are providing a service. They are taking care of the colony cats. They are taking care of their own cats that are living with them in their home. And to basically cat food shame someone because the only option that they have right now is to provide dry food for their cat instead of wet food is just not okay. It's just not. I know it might sound kind of trivial, but it makes me very upset because it is a social justice issue. It's poor shaming. It's saying to someone that you're not worthy of having a pet because you don't care for your pet the way I care for mine because I have more resources than you do. And that's not okay. If we wanted to get down to the nitty-gritty, yes, it's always better to feed wet food. It is. It's just cats are obligate carnivores. They do better on a wet food diet. It is what it is. But in some circumstances, there's no alternative but to feed dry food. I know people in rescue that have 100 cats in their home, which is, they have a makeshift rescue in their home. They feed the cats dry food because it's economical. If they can't get the massive donations of wet food that they need to feed the cats, they're going to feed dry food. And is that the best? No, it's not. But what's the alternative? We leave the cats out on the street? That's not a good alternative either. And then we have to also look at the people. When you have people that are, if we take away the rescues and the shelters and all the other nonprofit that can fundraise, what about the people that take in cats, that take in multiple cats? And I'm not talking about a hoarding situation. I'm talking about people, like Kim. She has 19 cats. All of her cats are rescue. She feeds dry food, and she feeds dry food for a reason because it is more economically feasible for her to do that. Also, the cats are healthy. If anyone that watches her channel can see that the cats are healthy. And I'm just using Kim as an example because there are other people out there that also feed dry food. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, I'm 100% behind feeding dry food. Not. I don't want to make this a debate about wet versus dry. That's not my intention. My intention is looking at the individual person situation. Because you can look at someone that is going to the store and buying a $5 bag of Friskies for their cat and condemning them because, well, you're not feeding them wet food. But you know what? Maybe that person isn't eating themselves. Think about that for a minute, because that's a reality. There are people out there who do not eat because they want to feed their animals and make sure their animals have care first. Now, is that the best way to go about it? Probably not, because if you don't eat and you get sick, who's going to take care of your companion? There may not be anyone to take care of your companion. But in the person's mind, they're doing what they think is best for their animal, for their companion, for their friend, for their buddy. That might be the only living thing that they have in their life that doesn't judge them or doesn't cause them any kind of problem or helps them get through some massively horrible things. Everything from severe illness to maybe a domestic violence situation to mental health challenges. So I think we really need to sit back and just think about, before we start making comments, just judging people and talking to people and telling people you're a horrible person because you do this or that or the other. Let's think about, you don't know that person's situation. You have no right to judge that person. You don't understand where they're coming from or what they're doing. Now, if they have money like Elon Musk, and they have money like Elon Musk, and they choose to feed their cat the cheapest thing possible, then maybe you can judge. I don't know. But who's to say that maybe that cat's a really picky eater like my Niffler, and that cat will only eat the $5 bag of Friskies. Or maybe they need to be on a special diet, and that diet is a dry food. I just think we need to really look at how the connection, the human animal bond, and how that works, and how we bounce off of each other. You know, we have, if the person, and this is the thing that bothers me, there's so many things that we can do to support people so the people can support their pets. And if we did more supporting of the people, if we have people that are facing food insecurity and they're not able to feed themselves, how are they going to feed their pets? Do you think they're going to be able to, they're going to feed their pets before they feed themselves? I don't think that makes them a bad person at all. I think that makes them a pretty good, caring person if they're willing to sacrifice their own health for the health of something that they love so much, which is their animal companion. So I just really wanted to sit down here and just do a short little live stream and just talk about this, because I really do feel that there's so much judgment going around. There's so many things like, okay, so maybe the cat doesn't have $300 cat tree. And this really goes back to why Kim started her channel, which is, not everyone can have that Martha Stewart beautiful home and everything's aesthetically pleasing and there's no claw marks or torn couches or the $500 designer cat trees and all these other things. Yeah, they did. I haven't seen it, but I talked to her about it. Um, we just don't know. We don't know what's going on in someone's life. And, the most important thing for me with a companion animal is that the animal is getting love, that the animal is sheltered, that the animal, if the animal has some kind of vet issue, that it's worked out somehow. And I'm, again, access to vet care is a real issue. I faced it myself, but there are resources in the community. And I know that there are people with companion animals that have had health issues that they move heaven and earth to get help. If they can't afford a vet, they'll go, they'll call rescue, or they'll find something. They'll go to a clinic. They'll find some way to help their pet. Um, but my point here is really stop the poor shaming. Okay. Just stop it. We're all in an economy right now that's really bad. Not everybody has the resources to go out and buy the, expensive foods. Um, and I think, making that link again between these animal welfare issues and the social justice issues. Why is the person going without food? Why isn't there some kind of safety net so that the person doesn't go without food? People shouldn't be going out without food. You know, nobody should be going without food. No one should be going without housing. Nobody should be going without health care. It's just, we have enough resources in this country that we don't need to have anyone have any kind of deficit in life sustaining services. It's just really, it's just really upsetting to say, to just read a comment like, well, there you are eating your Hello Fresh, and meanwhile your cats are just eating dry food. That's really sad. Well, what's really sad? What's really sad is if someone is financially struggling and barely has enough money to feed themselves, and yet they're feeding their cats first. That's what's really sad. That person has to go without in order to care for their companion animals, because that shouldn't be happening. I mean, and that goes back to not only social justice, but also the way that we look at that human animal bond. Animals are a very important thing, a very important part of many people's lives. And I think we need to acknowledge that and help those people that have that bond and that are helped by people. Because I talk to people every single day that are helped by animals in some way. They wouldn't be here if they didn't have those animals. They wouldn't get through a day if they didn't have their animals. And so, of course, they're going to give their animals everything while they get little or nothing. I mean, as far as like food and things like that. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say, because I know Kim is it is almost 5:23. Kim is going to live stream at 6, so I don't want to. Hi, Catitude. I'm just doing an impromptu. Well, first of all, I'm trying out the live stream feature on YouTube, since now with 50 subscribers, it's finally kicked in. After like 75 subscribers, YouTube finally realized that, oh, hey, you're eligible for this. But we're talking about people making comments when they don't know someone's situation. So I think it's important to just recognize that yeah, there's sometimes people just can't they just don't have finances to buy top of the line everything for their companion animal. But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't still have that animal. What's the alternative? The alternative is the cat's back on the street, or the cat's in a shelter somewhere, or in a rescue, waiting for their forever home. So it's yeah, catitude. That's what I'm talking about. And my point is that, well, what we're talking about is Kim had a comment on one of her videos that So it was kind of a snarky comment about her eating HelloFresh while the cats had dry food. And I've seen that comment before on other videos of hers as well as other people. And I'm just kind of talking about how, sometimes there are people that are going without food and they're putting all their money into, and that's all they can afford for their cats. We people go through tough times, and what should we surrender because we're going through a tough time or because we have an economic downturn? Should we get rid of our companion animals? Doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I think because as humans, we've had to. I know I've had to modify things. There's things that I don't. I basically eat like the cheapest protein, chicken or um, salads. I try to do whatever I can that is healthy and uh, cost effective. Whereas before maybe I could go out to eat once in a while. I can't really do that right now. And that's okay. We all make sacrifices. We all have to compromise. We all have to juggle things. Eventually things will even out. Yeah. So exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. That wasn't, and I just think I'm trying to make the point too that I've seen this a lot with people that are feeding the cats, like they're colony managers or they're involved with TNR, and they're feeding their cats. They're feeding this colony of cats and they're going without food. They're having trouble surviving themselves. So why aren't we supporting those people? Because they're doing something that our local SPCAs and humane societies should be doing but aren't. But those people many times are being judged and called crazy or bad or whatever because they just don't have the resources to do everything, but they're trying because they love animals, they love the cats. They don't want to see them starve. I don't want to see a cat starve. I mean, if it comes down to it, yeah, I'm definitely going to feed my cats before I feed myself because I'm not going to let them starve, but I also understand that if I get down sick, then they're not, where are they going to be? I don't want them to go into a shelter. So I want to be able to be healthy so I can care for them. But, if that means because I'm feed them wet food. You know what? I'll be the first to say it. I supplement with dry. I started doing that when inflation shot up. And I do it because that way it helps. They're still getting wet food primarily, but that way they still have it helps supplement. And I do the same thing with the outdoor cats because unfortunately I don't have the resources to feed those outdoor cats twice a day. If I did, they'd be getting wet food twice a day. I don't have it. So, yeah. Yeah, and that's my point, Catitude. That's really what I've been talking about here. And what you're saying in that comment, and dry kibble isn't the best food to feed, but for rescues and colony feeders, they couldn't possibly feed top of the line food. So yes, dry kibble is better than letting them starve. That's exactly how I feel about it. And I have I have basically made that comment to within on other, not just Kim, but on other videos too, where I've seen people getting bashed because they were feeding dry food. And I mean, these are people that have multiple cats and the cats are all rescues. Well, if they didn't take the cats in, they'd either be on the street or they'd be in a shelter somewhere. And Valentino got really, really lucky. And for people that don't know the story of Valentino, go to the Armchair Cat Advocate. and you can follow Valentino's story. But Valentino was a stray that I found and fostered, went through a local rescue, and someone from our community, Miss Nunya Business, she ended up adopting him. And not everybody, not every stray cat. Unfortunately, there's not a Nunya for every stray cat. So it's either the stray cat stays on the street, goes into uh, you know, if they're lucky enough, they'll get into a foster care situation. But if they're not, they'll just go to a rescue and they'll be in a little cage, you know, um, and that's where they'll stay until they get hopefully they'll get adopted. Or if it's no kill, that's where they'll just stay. And eventually, I mean, I don't know what they do with animals that have been there for a long time, but I have heard of cases of animals being in no kill for up to a year. That's a long time for a cat to be in a cage. I mean, even with the best care and letting them out and interacting with them, it's still not the same as being in a home. It's just not. So if the choice is the cat languishes in a cage for a year versus it gets into a loving home, but that loving home can only feed dry, then, you know, I think I would rather them eat the dry food and be in a loving home than be in a cage. Because I mean, we can work with that. If they're in the loving home, we can work with that. We can educate the person. We can maybe help them find coupons or help them, point them to resources. Maybe there's even a pet pantry, something like that, where they can go and they can get some wet food and they can learn how to provide their cat with better nutrition. But that's really, you know, that's pretty much my little rant for the day. I just really bothered me. That comment really bothered me. And I do want to respond to it on her video, but I also wanted to make this because I think it's not just what's happening on what that comment on Kim's video is not unique, unfortunately. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, like Catitude said, if you're a colony manager like myself and I'm feeding, geez, anywhere from, well, it depends on any given night. I mean, it could be up to 15, 20 cats going back and forth by that feeding station. I mean, I have my regulars, but there's also others that come and go. So, if you have, and I know people that feed colonies of 50 cats or more. I know there are rescues where they have 100 cats in the rescue. Person has them in their house. Fosters that have that own their homes that aren't going to get in trouble for landlord, and they have 50 cats. They have 50 cats that they're fostering. It's a lot. It's a lot. And you just imagine the cost of the cheapest wet cat food you can get. I think is pretty much, I mean, brand name is pretty much Friskies. Now there's generic Frisky kind of cat foods out there. I mean, every Walmart has a brand, Giant Foods, which is our local grocery market here in Pennsylvania. I think every store has like their store brand of Friskies, but Friskies is around, between 77-79 cents a can. If you get it like at a discount store like Walmart or on Chewy, I think it's about that price on Chewy, Target, those places. So, I mean, if you have 100, I don't even want to figure that out. If you're feeding every cat 2 cans a day and you have 100 cats, that's a lot. That's a lot of food. And that can get really costly really fast. Whereas if you just buy like a 30-pound bag of dry food, it could be like $30 or something like that. Um, and you make do with what you got. So I'm going to actually leave it here because I do want to end this so that people have time to do whatever they need to do before Kim's stream starts, so that I'm not taking away from her streaming. But I just wanted to hop on here and talk a little bit. I really wanted to try out the YouTube um, live streaming option to see if I even had it yet, because like I said, it took them a while to figure out that, oh yeah, she now qualifies. She has 50 subscribers. So actually didn't even, I just now at almost 100 subscribers, it's kicking in. But that's all going good. I'm going to check that out. We had some people come in the chat. I can see the chat's working. So thank you, Nunya and Catitude, for hopping on there. And I appreciate everyone. And next stream will be a little bit more formal, and I can actually put some warning out so that 93 now. Yeah. Well, Catitude, I talked to Kim, and we're gonna put our heads together and see what we can do at 100. So there more than likely will be some kind of celebration. We're just not sure what yet. We're gonna have to talk about that and see. But yeah, we'll definitely do something. I'm thinking, at each milestone, like 100, 500, 1,000, we'll just do something. We'll do some kind of celebration, because that's, yeah. Well, and Catitude, thank you so much. And Nunya, thank you too, for supporting the channel, because this wouldn't happen without the community. And Kim's community has been gracious enough to show up here, even though, I know Kim's co-owner, but I mean, everyone recognizes that I'm pretty much running this, and she's running the original channel. So although she's involved, I still do a lot of this on my own. But I will tell you that any really big decisions, where she's part of that, we sit down and we talk about things, or we don't really sit down together. We do like you know what I mean. We phone, or do we get on the StreamYard and talk like a Zoom kind of call. Um, but we do discuss things that could impact her show, so that, because we don't want to do anything that will take away from her show, and we don't want to overlap what we're doing. So that's why I kind of came on here by myself today, because I'm sure she would have loved to have come on with me, but I just wanted to say that, because it really bothers me. It bothers me a lot, because I do see people that really are struggling out there, and they're trying so hard to help these cats. And, if it's not some asshat person saying some kind of asshat comment, it's a township official, or zoning official, or some official that's like, hey, you can't have these cats, or they're making rules of, oh, you can't feed the cats, oh, you can't do this, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, well, what do you want? How do you solve a problem? How do you solve a problem? You're making it worse. You're not helping. I mean, we could solve this problem. We have a great community. We have a great community here. We have a great community with Kim's. We're developing a great community here. There's a lot of people out there that really care about the cats, that would come out, would turn out, would support. But instead, it's just, oh, we just don't feed them. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I'm not going to stand back and watch an animal starve to death. That's not going to happen. So if you want to fine me $500 every time you catch me feeding a cat, I don't, go ahead, see how much money you get, because I don't have anything. I'm kind of the wrong person to do that to, because number one, I don't care. And number two, go ahead, try to get blood from this stone. I dare you. I mean, and none of you knows what I'm talking about, because there's been issues. We were talking to the volunteer from Feline Solutions, and we have townships that are putting in laws now that they can't feed the cats. So And I know that that's kind of like across the country. There's just this war on community cats. So yeah, and a lot of them are strays. A lot of them are like Valentino. That's the sad part. Like Jack. I posted a little video of Jack. Now Jack has a different temperament than Valentino. Jack's not the same kind of um laid back kind of lovey cat, I don't think. I mean, of course, I haven't had him in here and fostering him either, and plus he has some vet issues that need to be resolved. So who really knows what his temperament's like? And he's not neutered. So there's a lot going on, but Valentino is just naturally laid back, love bug. Um, and Jack, I think, is a little more. Well, Jack's a tuxedo. He has tuxitude. So I'm gonna let it there. I'm gonna hop off of here because I want to hop on Kim's stream as well. So I'll see everyone over there. And thank you. He's lying flat out on the floor. I know. And Nanya, I did get the pictures. I'm gonna have to. I'll text you or call you. But I think the ones that you sent with the cloud, I got to see a couple of them, and now they're gone. So it must be a time thing that I can only look at them for a short period of time, and then they take that away from. I don't know. I can't. I can't. This technology, I just can't. But I did get there, and I was actually I had my I actually I had a I had my session with my therapist this morning, and I was telling her that Valentino got adopted, and I was showing her the picture of the pin and telling her the story of the pin, and yeah, it was really that's an awesome story. That's a real awesome story. That's we should you should go you we should go to the we should approach the dodo with this, with all these. I mean, think, and Ken Kim brought up a good point. Think about all of the people. Think about their say code. So it took 4 states essentially to find this cat a home. So Kim in Missouri, with it started with her show Life with 18 Cats, with me being on there and highlighting this cat that I was fostering. And then we got you into and Jenna. So it's Kim and Jenna because Jenna's in Florida. And then we got you in the mix, and myself, and I'm in Pennsylvania. So we had 4 different states. And like my therapist said, isn't it funny that the person that wanted Valentino lived close enough that they could come and get him. And like, yeah, because what if you were living out in California on the other side of the country? I mean, you could have flown in and gotten him, I guess, but probably that wouldn't been really. It would have probably been out of price range for a lot of people. Um, so everything just all of the planets aligned, so to speak, and we got it done. He has flown and drive back. I believe you. I believe you. I think you would have. Like I said, he's a lucky boy. I'm so glad that you got him, and he's that I think you two are meant to be. Um, and he's probably so happy. He's probably so happy he has the whole place to himself. He doesn't have Abra's not beating the snot out of him. He doesn't have to deal with anyone. He doesn't have to deal with any of the other cats. Um, he can come up and lay beside you. He doesn't have to fight for lovey time. Is he getting up at 3 o'clock yet? Is he, Nanya? Is he getting you up does his alarm clock go off at 3 o'clock for you, 3 o'clock a.m. for you? Aw. Does he get you up at 3 o'clock in the morning though? That's the burning question. Is he sleeping through the night or does he wake you up? Yeah, Catitude, I want to know. No, okay. So I think probably I this is just my guess. I think being here, he was doing that because he wanted attention and he couldn't get it because if he came into the bedroom and tried to get on the bed, the other cats wouldn't let him. Um, I wish I could talk. I can't read your whole comment because the icon thing. Let me see if I can. Whoops. I wish I could talk. I can't. Well, I can't. I can't. I can't read the whole comment because the icon thing. There we go. I wish I could talk on her. Oh, you wish you could talk on here. Yeah, my keyboard. Okay. Yeah. Well, we can talk later. Yeah, we can talk. We can talk later. I had to retype the tape. No, that's okay. I couldn't see it because I don't know why they have the little heart thing that you hit for the hearts and the other emojis to come flying out. They have that and it partially blocks the text when people type. And yeah. It'd be like him, type faster, type faster. Yeah, it is. It's always in the way. Okay, well, I'm going to end the stream because it's 5:47. So if I'm going to be in trouble if if I'm streaming and Kim's streaming and and I have part of her community over here send me, "What's wrong with you?" Okay, bye. He wanted to play 5:30. Aw. He likes to be chased. Yeah, he does like that. He'll do that with me too. He kind of gets down like a dog and then he'll skitter off. It's so cute. Yeah. Yeah, he's really he would do that with me too. And he would grab my ankle, like I'd be going by and he'd snag either my pant leg or he'd wrap his little paws around my ankle and he'd bite my ankle. He does love bites. Yeah, he would do that. I mean, yeah, he was funny. He would do that. He'd be like a little dog. Well, he must be feeling really comfortable at this point. He settled in quickly. That's good. Oh, I'd do that. I'd go and do like the monster hands at him. Say, "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you." And then he'd run. And he'd go in the tunnel. I have these cat tunnels. Okay, Nanya, I'm gonna end it so we can get over to. Are you going over to Kim's stream? Yeah, he's cute. He is cute. He is his cutest face. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna end it here so we can get over there, log out of here, and get over there, and I will see you in the chat over there. So I'll talk to you very soon within the next few minutes. Hey, bye.